Well, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to a chill Tuesday night stream of Do Not Worry. I'm your host, Anthony, joined by my lovely girlfriend, Demi.
Hi, guys.
How's it going, everybody? This is going to be a very chill, unorganized stream. We have a couple of videos that I want to watch and react to. While I do that, Demi is going to be trying to alter some of my Teddy Fresh clothes, stuff that I bought years ago, where we need to remove those Teddy Fresh logos, folks. I've been talking about this. I've been teasing this for a while. I did not give Demi enough of a heads up today, so she barely has any of the tools that she needs to make this happen. She's going to try her best. She's not a professional. I mean, are you a seamstress or like...
No, I wouldn't consider myself a professional.
Yeah, looking like an amateur, I guess, like
yeah,
from time to
it's
time.
like a hobby, more like.
Yeah. I mean, you do stuff with needles. You do like punch needling and stuff, but that's completely different.
Yeah, it's different than embroidery. It's not really a fixing kind of thing, but it's more like artistic, but it's still kind of similar.
Everyone in the chat is saying hi, hello, Demi. Let us know if if Demi's audio is okay, if my audio is okay. Please let us know. So this is what we're going to be doing today, kind of just hanging out. There's the Bill Maher video that I want to watch where he talked about going to visit Donald Trump. That's kind of cringy. There's David Pakman released a video where he's complaining about like how the left judges him because he supports Israel. So I kind of want to watch that. And Ela Klein went on H3H3 yesterday to talk about how because of the tariffs on China, Teddy Fresh is no longer a sustainable business, and it might have to, like, they might have to stop operating it, babe. So some of these clothes we might have to keep because they might become collector's items. Like, this might be worth, like, I have the OG, like, everybody knows this is the signature Teddy Fresh hoodie. This is what made them famous. As soon as you see these colors, you think Teddy Fresh. I think if y'all have some of these, keep them. You know what I mean? This might be worth a pretty penny. Stick them on eBay. Try to sell them or something. Let me just take a second to thank some of our lovely patrons, folks. We have not updated the credits yet, so all of the new members that members go up, we salute you. Thank you, sir. All of the members that he added to our channel, which is like 100 members, those are not yet in the credits, but I'd like to just thank superhero patrons. God tier patrons. Rifat Fakih, Elian Mujabir, Jack Sleeman, Dominic Selger, Daniel Nechle, Emma Watson. Superhero patrons like Rhea D, Rami Gharib, Melting Around, Bader, and Brian Hernandez. And blonde patrons such as David Ayala, Samir Ansari, Andrea Spears, Slim, and Bahar. Thank you so much. If you guys would like to consider supporting us on Patreon, you could do so at the following link right here. Pick a tier that's right for you. You can now pay yearly. I've been talking about that. Sorry, this is the last time I'm going to mention it, but like Patreon entered this new thing where you can now pay for a whole year. You get like a discount. We have Ahmad Al Salim, who just joined as a blonde patron and paid for the whole year straight up. That's pretty cool. Excess Lubricant and Jigglypuffer joined as abductee patrons, also got to pay for a whole year. I think they got a discount for that, so welcome to the family. Thank you for supporting the channel. You guys can also support by becoming YouTube members, by getting a YouTube membership, engaging in the chat, super chats, whatever you guys want. We appreciate you. We love you. And this makes a big difference for a small, independent Lebanese YouTube channel such as ours. We could not be around without you. Demi, how's it looking? Is it daunting? Are you daunted at these?
Oh, no, I'm just like threading my needle right now.
I
have not looked at it. There are some I told you that are not doable because they're embroidered into it. It's not a pouch.
Okay.
So unfortunately, those.
I think you might be sitting a bit far from the mic. I think you might need to get it a little bit closer.
All right,
to you.
closer to the mic.
That's a little bit better. Let us start by. We're going to leave the Teddy Fresh thing maybe to the middle. I just want to start with probably the one that Demi would be the least interested in. That way we knock it out of the way, and then we can watch the other two videos. As you guys know, I'm going to be traveling later this week. More details on my trip tomorrow. We're doing our final live of the week tomorrow, so more details about what's coming up, what the future is going to look like over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So stay tuned for that. Join us tomorrow for the final live stream. I might be doing some live streams from the States, but again, I'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's not focus on that today. For now, what I want to do is kind of focus on these videos that I want to react to. And I mean, babe, feel free to... first, before we go, I just wanted to also... Demi's Instagram accounts, if you guys would like to... where did I put that? Stuff right here. In case you guys would like to support, if you're in Lebanon looking for some... piercings or tattoos. Demi has a shop. This is her piercer/tattoo artist account, Days of Demi. On Instagram, this has the old follower account. Sorry, babe, I didn't take a new
it's not really that different.
A new.
Anyways, a lot of you did follow, and you're not even living in Lebanon, so I really appreciate that. All the support you've been showing me, it's been really, really nice. Thank you.
Cosmic Studios is the name of the studio. So if you're in Lebanon, you're interested in tattoos, piercings, not only that, like fine arts, sort of fun workshops, a whole bunch of things, events, markets, and sales every now and then. Give Demi a follow, and yeah, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
They thank you in advance, people. We thank you for gracing this show. We're not good enough for you. This show is not worth your presence.
Thank you.
So David Pakman is just quick, since Demi doesn't know who he is, and in case some of our viewers don't know who he is a left-wing commentator. He's on YouTube. He talks about the news, usually from a Democratic left-wing perspective. He supported Joe Biden, he supported Kamala Harris, but he has a reputation for being kind of like an ass licker. He is very much like a corporate Democratic fan, neoliberal, not very much a leftist, like a real leftist, like who supports like Bernie Sanders and like Medicare for all and like really raising the taxes on the rich. He's kind of like your middle of the road neoliberal Democrat, supports Israel. Israel has the right to defend itself, but I do support the Palestinians, but like Gaza should be able to, Israel should be able to defend itself. All that sort of thing. But he doesn't really have much of a good reputation amongst people who consume leftist media. Like, for example, I trust someone like Mike Figueiredo from The Humanist Report a lot more. People like Fran Fino from TYT, Matt Lieb's wife. Sort of like the Vanguard, but the Vanguard is kind of more of like a comedic take. People like the Majority Report. Those are the people that I kind of agree with mostly when it comes to left media on YouTube. Breaking points, like I really like Crystal. I really like Kyle Kalinske, Hassan Piker. Someone like David Pakman never spoke to me, never meant anything to me. Yesterday, I was looking at Instagram and I saw that Ethan Klein shared parts of a David Pakman video on his Instagram story because he agrees with David Pakman. And David Pakman was talking about how he feels judged for the Israel thing. He says that, like, I agree with Democrats like 95% of the way, but that the Israel thing makes them think of me as less than, and they don't think I'm a real liberal. So let's listen to his video kind of complaining about how his support for Israel disqualifies him from being a real leftist and how he's sick of, the purity tests, etc. And I just find all that shit absurd. And the fact that Ethan Klein agrees with this and felt compelled enough to share this on his stories means that there's something very wrong with what David Pakman is saying here. So let's watch.
I've talked before about how the left sometimes has this instinct to exclude people over relatively small disagreements, while the right, at least when it's time to win elections, tends to really be inclusive in this just vote for us kind of way. Come on in. You can support Trump but hate vaccines, be anti-tax but pro-labor, think the 2020 election...
Yeah, New York NY Anthony says he's a liberal Democrat, a diehard blue no matter who voter, which I am not. I am very picky when it comes to Democrats. I don't just vote for anyone because they're a Democrat. You have to earn my vote. I don't vote for anyone based on party, etc. So yeah, let's keep going.
...was stolen or just had issues, but you're still in their group, at least for the purposes of winning elections, getting power, and then getting to legislate. The right accepts all of it until the election in order to win. But what we see on the left often is that if you disagree on one issue even slightly, you'll sometimes end up being treated like you're not really part of the movement at all. You're otherized. And it's what Sigmund Freud called the narcissism of small differences. We save sometimes our harshest energy for people who are mostly like us, just not quite enough. And this isn't some theory, this is really everywhere. Think about the Bernie versus Warren feud from 2020 and how it got so vicious that supporters who agreed on 90% of policy, maybe 95% of policy, started treating each other like they were enemies. And the reality is that there was very little daylight between Bernie and Warren. In fact, they were assessed at the time as the two most left senators.
If I recall correctly, Elizabeth Warren started to accuse Bernie of like doing sexist attacks against her and saying that she couldn't be president because she was a woman. So like she when Bernie was like her friend for a long time, you know what I mean? And she like betrayed Bernie and tried to paint him as like a fucking sexist, and that he was against her running for becoming president. So I thought that was a fucking low blow from Elizabeth Warren. And then she had a few other attacks on Bernie, even though he refused to ever say anything negative about her. I thought they would have made a great ticket. I thought it should have been Bernie as president and Elizabeth Warren as his VP. She fucking betrayed Bernie, bro. So I don't know what the fuck David Pakman is talking about here, but I'm not surprised, by the way, of how he's framing this issue, because he's just a little bitch. Back to David Pakman.
But from how their supporters were fighting with each other, you would have thought it was like, Marx versus Milton Friedman or something like that. I even got sucked into it a little bit when I said in 2020, I prefer Bernie, but I'd be happy with Elizabeth Warren. These are the two most left-wing senators in the Senate. I got furious emails. How dare you, you right-winger? We knew you were a neo-lib this entire time. So that was Bernie Warren in 2020. Another example, defund the police. For some, defund the police became a line in the sand where anyone like me who wanted reform but didn't like the slogan and maybe thought that actually just flat out defunding isn't really the solution, we were written off as compromised. Oh, you've been, big law enforcement is paying you. The DNC has given...
I don't think that's as much of a case. I mean, I get what the term defund the police means. And usually, like, when you're making, like, a slogan, you want it to be more extreme so that you get some kind of a compromise. You say defund the police, asks to defund it, and then the compromise is going to be reform. If you ask for reform, you're not going to get shit. You know what I mean? So ask for the extreme. What is it like? If you ask for a full loaf, you get half a loaf. If you ask for half a loaf, you get crumbs. So might as well ask for the full loaf, compromise, and then you'll get sort of the thing that you actually wanted. So that, and I don't see anyone really kicking anyone out of the Democratic Party for not wanting to actually defund the police. But also, F the police while we're at it.
Money so that you don't support defund. No, I mean, I laid out a 10-point plan, which included reform, response by non-armed individuals to certain types of calls, training, ending low-effort policing, all this stuff. But I just didn't think that defund made sense as a slogan or as a practice. I was brutally attacked for that. I'm on the right, all this stuff. Another example, there are people on the left who have, maybe we'd call them more nuanced views on trans athletes in sports. Everybody would be pro-trans rights in just about every way. We agree about dignity and all this different stuff. But there are some people who say, hey, you know what? There are some sports in which I think there's an issue of fairness here. Some of them get branded as bigots and told, you're not part of this.
I think that's pretty extreme. I do understand that the trans athletes in sports is very complicated, and in most cases, there's John Oliver made a great sort of like 40-minute study on that, or like a segment on trans athletes, and there was a trans sort of a scientist that was kind of talking about how it just really depends on the sports. There are sports where it matters if an athlete is trans. There are sports where it doesn't matter if an athlete is trans. I just say look at the science, whatever makes sense ultimately. Does it make sense to say that all trans athletes should be able to compete in all sports? I don't think so. I think there are going to be some cases where people have a physical advantage. There are going to be cases where people have the doctor was explaining on how there are sports where trans male athletes have a disadvantage because their bodies are too big, for example. And it's actually a disadvantage in certain sports, like let's say like synchronized swimming. I'm just throwing out an example. Sometimes if you're a trans male athlete, that gives you a disadvantage. So it's such a complex issue. And for people to just try to make it a simple yes or no, and I'm still learning about it. Like my opinion on it is changing with time. The more science there is, the more people learn, the more these sports authorities make that knowledge public. They make it clearer for people. There's going to be less fear, less confusion around it. And I think hopefully a few years from now, we would have found a solution that makes everyone happy.
Same movement that I'm part of. Wow. And then even when people agree with the general direction of the left, the second they use the slightly wrong language or they're not loud enough at the right moment, they get accused of being only performative allies or whatever, as if being imperfect disqualifies you completely. This is personal too, by the way. I've spoken out strongly in favor of an independent Palestinian state against...
Everyone Plays Games said Fran had a dumb take on this issue. I think she had a slightly extreme take. I think she was being asked, like, what if Floyd Mayweather wanted to compete in women's boxing? She was like, yeah, sure, he should be able to. I think in that case, this is a pretty extreme case where I don't even think that example would ever apply. Like nothing like that would ever happen. So even entertaining that example is kind of extreme and insane. But like, yeah, I kind of disagree with that point because that is a bit of an extreme example.
Israeli settlements against Benjamin Netanyahu. But I've also said I don't support the BDS movement. I don't support calling for the elimination of Israel. I don't.
Yeah, no, NY Anthony says trans athletes make less than 0.5% of all professional and collegiate competitors. Exactly. The amount of time that people spend talking about trans athletes, you'd think that for every 10 non-trans athletes, there are 7 trans athletes waiting in the wings ready to take someone's place. So it's such a minor issue, whether in high school, whether in college, whether in professional sports. The amount of time that people spend talking about this, again, this is all just a distraction. People want you to fight your neighbors. They want to turn left versus right. All these social issues, social wars, when we should be focused on the 1% versus the 99% of us, and wealth inequality and income inequality. But they just want us to focus on fuck the Mexicans, fuck the trans athletes. Where it's like, what are you talking about?
Support those things, but I support all the other stuff I just mentioned. You all know I've had people say I'm not part of the real left. I'm actually a right winger with my beliefs. I've been excluded by people whose views I mostly share because I only signed off on 92%, not 100% of what they believe. So why does this happen? This is the critical part. I just finished reading the book The Status Game by Will Storr. And in the book, he explains that a lot of this behavior is about how people try to gain status in their communities. And in many left-wing spaces, the way to earn status is by being morally pure. This is where the phrase purity test comes from. This
is the part that Ethan had on his stories, basically.
You're the most principled, you're the most correct, you're the most uncompromising, you're the most left-wing. And Storr leans on the work of...
JC Ramirez says, this is worse than your lawsuit take, I'm gonna be honest. What exactly did I say that is that bad? JC Ramirez, please clarify in the comments.
Jason Manning and Bradley Campbell.
Again, because you guys see, this is such a sensitive topic that, like, all I said was there are some sports where trans athletes, it could make sense where maybe they couldn't compete based on what a trans scientist said, and then even just saying that, some people are going to say that, like, you have a bad take. So it's a really and honestly, I don't even enjoy talking about that topic because of how sensitive it is and how offended people can get, and for right or wrong reasons. Like, everyone has the right to be offended and to take things a certain way. But, like, again, I don't think I said anything out of the norm, but some people are going to take things a certain way. Nothing we could do. Live show must go on, baby.
It's not about who's wrong or right or distracting people. It's also about there should be one kind of rule that's applied to everything. Not like some sports are like this and some sports, like, that's prejudiced. You're supposed to just make one equal thing for everyone, just like how there's like rules for men and women.
I know, but it doesn't work like that, I guess, with sports, because different sports, different physical attributes, and different. I'm not really qualified to talk about it at all, you know.
Who describe a shift in what they call a victimhood culture. In that culture, status comes from being seen as a victim or defending victims more strongly than anybody else does. And when that's the game, what you end up with is people constantly calling each other out, not just to make things better, but to prove their own virtue, to win points, because they are the ones doing the calling out. So what ends up is that instead of building coalitions, the left ends up policing its own ranks. The right rewards loyalty, and the left often rewards purity. And that difference is showing up at the ballot box. If we want to win, we have to stop turning minor disagreements into disqualifications, because then we'll just keep losing.
So I'm going to go back. I'm getting distracted by the chat, so I'm going to stop looking at the chat for a second. This is why we need someone here looking at chat. I'm going to go back a little bit.
Most principled, you're the most correct, you're the most uncompromising, you're the most left-wing. And Storr leans on the work of Jason Manning and Bradley Campbell, who describe a shift in what they call a victimhood culture. In that culture, status comes from being seen as a victim or defending victims more strongly than anybody else does. And when that's the game, what you end up with is people constantly calling each other out, not just to make things better, but to prove their own virtue, to win.
I don't fully disagree with him here. I know where he's going, and I'm gonna disagree with a lot of what he's saying later. But, like, yes, there are some people, like, on Twitter, on social media, that will just virtue signal, that are just gonna try to make themselves look better than other people without actually doing any of the work behind the scenes, without doing anything to help. It's like, hey, you did this, you're a piece of shit, I'm better than you for that. But you also have to do the work offline to back up what it is you're saying and preaching on the internet. But there is a lot of sort of grandstanding and moral grandstanding and pretending to be more pure than that. I'd say, look, I'm going to give David Pakman a bit of credit. He's not entirely wrong there.
Points, because they are the ones doing the calling out. So what ends up is that instead of building coalitions, the left ends up policing its own ranks. The right rewards loyalty, and the left often rewards purity. And that difference is showing up at the ballot box. If we want to win, we have to stop turning minor disagreements into disqualifications, because then we'll just keep losing. If you don't build the tent, grow the tent, you shrink it, and then you lose power. And there's this idea that if you let more people in who aren't pure, you actually shrink the tent when in reality you're growing it. So I would like to see it go differently the next couple of election cycles, and let's see if it makes a difference. After researching, writing...
I was looking at the chat when he was talking about the Israel-Palestine thing, and I fucking skipped it, bro. I should stop looking at chat when I'm doing this.
Language, or they're not loud enough at the right moment, they get accused of being only performative allies or whatever, as if being imperfect disqualifies you completely. This is personal too, by the way. I've spoken out strongly in favor of an independent Palestinian state.
There we go. Sorry, I thought I skipped this. I was listening to the whole thing, waiting for him to get to Palestine. So yeah, so this is crazy to me, right? I agree with most of what Democrats believe, except Israel should exist. So it's literally like saying, hey, I agree with all people. I agree with Democrats. I agree we should raise taxes on the rich. I agree, gay people should have rights, trans people should have rights. But I mean, I also agree that rapists should be allowed to rape. Hey, I agree with you guys on everything else, 95%. We just have a little difference on the rapist thing. Isn't that okay? And aren't I still welcome in your club? Like, bro, supporting genocide, get the fuck out of here, bro. That's not a small 5 to 2% difference. If you support the existence of a Jewish ethno-state where the only way it can exist is by imprisoning 2 million Palestinians in an open-air prison called Gaza, and then illegal settling over in the West Bank and murdering people and kicking them out of their lands, if you believe that country should exist, you can go fuck yourself, bro. You do not belong in any group called a liberal, a progressive, a humanitarian, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Sorry, we're rewatching this, by the way.
Against Israeli settlements, against Benjamin Netanyahu. But I've also said I don't support the BDS movement.
He doesn't even support the BDS movement. He doesn't even support just the act of boycotting products, boycotting companies, boycotting things that could discourage other people from working with Israeli companies and from normalizing the existence of an apartheid Jewish supremacy state. Douche Canoe sends $5 and says the Kamala campaign tried to extend the tent to bringing in conservative voters and it failed horribly. David's strategy doesn't work. Exactly. Well, Kamala, this is why you need to extend the tent, but in the other direction. Try to extend it more to the left. Try to bring in more leftists instead of excluding leftists, and try to bring in conservatives and centrists who are never really going to vote and support you. So that's never going to work. Let's continue watching.
Support calling for the elimination of Israel. I don't support those things, but I support all the other stuff I just mentioned. You all know I've had people say I'm not part of the real left. I'm actually a right-winger with my beliefs. I've been excluded by people whose view...
Right-winger, left-winger, doesn't matter. You're just a piece of shit, bro. Anyone who believes that Israel should exist, just ask yourself, what is the cost of Israel existing? And if you're okay, once you say that out loud, well, the cost of Israel existing is X amount of million Palestinians being kicked out of their homes, Palestinians living in an open-air prison, Palestinians not having the right to leave the Gaza Strip, hundreds and thousands of checkpoints if they need to get to the city, all sorts of shit, humanitarian aid being blocked from going into their homes. They're now about to get kicked out of Gaza and they want to throw them out to the rest of the world. Whatever you want. If you're okay with all of that shit, this is what it takes to keep Israel alive. The Israel that you know and love, that's what it takes to keep it alive. If you're okay with that, then you're a piece of shit. Not only are you not a Democrat or Republican, you're just a fucking piece of shit human, bro.
I mostly share because I only signed off on 92%, not 100% of what they...
Well, that 8%, my guy, is pretty fucked up. That 8% covers genocide, not letting aid into places, murdering women and children by the thousands on a daily basis for over a year and a half. Yeah, that's kind of fucking disqualifying, bro. Wouldn't you fucking say, David fucking Pakman?
So why does this happen? This is the critical part. I just finished reading the book The Status Game by Will Storr. And in the book, he explains that a lot of this behavior is about how people try to gain status in their community.
Super Guy Bob sends $5 and says the one issue they pretend is a small little wedge issue is literally genocide. Exactly. It's just this one little thing. We agree. Like Ethan Klein says it. I agree with you on 99%. It's just the one thing. I think Israel should exist. I think, Hamas hides military bases under hospitals. I mean, what is Israel supposed to do? It's just this one thing. Everything else are the same. Gay people should have rights. Aren't I a nice person? Aren't I a good person? That's not how it fucking works, bro. You support genocide, you're a piece of shit.
And in many left-wing spaces, the way to earn status is by being morally pure. This is where the phrase purity test comes from. By proving you're the most principled, you're the most correct, you're the most uncompromising, you're the most left-wing. And Storr leans on the work of Jason Manning and Bradley Campbell, who describe a shift in what they call a victimhood culture. In that culture, status...
Anyways, so we watched this again. So that is what he had to say. That is what Ethan Klein had to share. Let's cut to Demi for a quick update. How is that massive Teddy Fresh banner torturing? Looks like it's torturing you?
Shui, the top and the bottom are easy, but the sides are stitched into the actual sweater, so the seams are invisible and like it might rip when I remove that, but I can resew it.
Can I see what it looks like?
It's coming off.
Oh, it looks pretty good. No, it looks really good. What's gonna rip?
Yeah, no, here. It's stitched into the sweater.
Oh, okay.
So this whole piece, I can't see the seam. I can restitch it. It's just more work than I anticipated.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's chill.
But you think it'll be like it'll survive? It'll be solidly.
Yeah, no, it'll survive with the fact that the fabric is thick. It's not even gonna show like we altered it or anything. It's not.
Okay. Damn. So we got two Teddy Fresh pieces rescued, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks to Demi.
Yeah, but the rest are gonna have to stay the way they are.
The rest are gonna. It's okay. The color block hoodies I think are good souvenirs. Some of the T-shirts that I have, I'm gonna have to keep them the way they are. Yeah. By the way, guys, sorry, like I couldn't engage more with the trans thing on chat because like I'm trying to do the show live and then people are having like debates and calling me out. So it's like I can do like one thing at a time. Enough of David Pakman. We're done with David Pakman. We are done with our boy Bill Maher. Let us go to H3H3 and Ela Klein talking about the tariffs. Babe, you heard about the tariffs that are happening in the States. Donald Trump is implementing a whole bunch of tariffs. He's removed most of them now for the rest of the world, but he has maintained the China tariffs, and they're now up to like 150%. So whatever you buy from China, from the United States, whatever you order in, you have to pay a 150% tariff on top of that. So prices are going to like quadruple. I don't even know what that means on the ground, like price-wise, but like things are going to explode. And for Teddy Fresh, the brand that you are currently handling and altering, they produce most of their clothes in China. Got a $5 super chat by Bennu in Space. Who cares why people are anti-genocide? It's still the correct position. He pretends his assertion and validates it. It does not. Connie Kitty asks, who is the co-host? If you're asking who's the co-host today, that is my girlfriend, Demi. Well, I wouldn't say co-host. She's like, she's a guest contributor today. I would love for her to be a co-host one day. Too much stress. So what I'm going to say, though, in defense, a lot of people, when they say something is made in China, they say it as like an insult or like the assumption that it's
like
bad.
The biggest industry
Yeah,
that's making everything.
We'll be fair. There's a lot of cheap, shitty, and extra affordable stuff that is made in China, but there's also a lot of excellent stuff that is made in China. Most of the things that you use on a daily basis are made in China. Your iPhones, considered some of the best, most durable phones on the market. These are made in China. Chinese craftsmen are very talented. They're very diligent. They take their time. They're very proud in their work. Some stuff is crap, but every country makes shitty stuff. There's good stuff and there's bad stuff.
No, but it's not because it's made in China, it's crap. It's because the business that is outsourcing this product in China is trying to be cheap. So they've made the cheap product. It's not Chinese people. Like it has nothing to do with the actual industry.
And they're working with a factory that maybe uses less than great practices, or they don't get the best materials. You'll find in China, you'll find all sorts of factories, people that work with
that goes back to the business owner.
Yeah,
though, always.
It depends who you want to choose to work with. If the factory in China uses great materials, you're going to get a great product in return. And I know I've criticized Ela and Ethan and Teddy Fresh and some of their, but like I was a big fan of Teddy Fresh, and I will give them that. The quality of most Teddy Fresh clothing is very fucking good. Like look at this hoodie right here. They're color block hoodies. They're thick. They're very long lasting. They're very comfortable. Teddy Fresh, for the most part, has made very high quality clothing. Whether it's, and I'm not going to use the fact that it was made in China as like a knock. I like China. I'm a big fan of China.
It's 100% polyester.
You
haven't washed this enough to know that it's.
Yeah, I've never washed this thing. I've worn this thing like twice.
It's 100% polyester.
Yeah,
that is not
let me
great
check
quality of clothing.
Let me check this hoodie.
For like $100, like that's a ripoff, honestly. And like they were probably making these for like $5 or $10 in China, and then selling them like It's not. It's not. It was never an ethical business, I think.
Let me check the hoodie, what that is made of. Well, the hoodie is 100% cotton. I was talking about the hoodie in my hand. So the hoodies are very good quality. They're very durable. They're very thick. Like, I never had any complaints with their clothes. I love a lot of their T-shirts. Some of their jackets would feel a little bit more flimsy, but for the most part, I think Teddy Fresh clothing is good quality. So when people try to say, like, oh, it's just crap made in China, I don't think it's crap. You know what I mean? Some of their more recent hoodies felt like the material was a little bit thinner. It was never as thick as the original color blocks, but I think some of their clothes are pretty dope. Sometimes I got like a shitty zipper, every now and then like a flimsy zipper or something, but for the most part, the fact that their stuff is made in China, not a problem. So now with the tariffs, Ela and Ethan are questioning whether or not Teddy Fresh can even survive, and not just their businesses. They're talking about like a lot of other businesses. So let's kind of hear what they had to say and see whether or not Teddy Fresh will be around a year from now. And then I'll know what to do with some of these items, maybe collector's items, baby.
Crack at it. Ela's giving me her used food.
This is how you get IBS, bro.
Yeah, this is my
Told you.
Thank you. This is the $20 breakfast burrito. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Does this work?
That-
Did you see? Oh, wait, you have the wig on. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Enjoy it.
that's pretty chill.
Okay.
We have a week of Wig Dan.
Hopeless Leftist says Teddy Fresh is a ripoff. Sorry, Anthony, you don't want to admit it. No, it definitely is a ripoff. It's definitely overpriced. Like, I've overpaid for things like this hoodie. I think was like $80 or something. There's no reason a hoodie should be $80. Like, unless it's like really.
Unless it's original art or there's something, but this is like obviously like one panel that they reprinted. Or
I mean, look, to me it's nice, but like, yeah, I mean, for example, to me a price for a hoodie should be like $50 or something. To me, that's a fair price that you'd pay for a nice, good quality hoodie that you can keep for a few years. Teddy Fresh were definitely aiming to be a higher end type of streetwear, not like Supreme level where they charge like hundreds for certain things, but they want it to be higher end than like Vans, but like less than other things. So I understand the pricing. Definitely overpriced. Definitely. They routinely charge over $100 for like jackets and like sweatshirts and stuff. Certainly overpriced. I was just a fan, guys. Again, don't forget, I was a massive fallen fan of H3H3. I host a fucking show inspired by H3H3. So of course I bought a lot of Teddy Fresh. I convinced myself that some of the stuff was nicer than it was. Also, it influenced my fashion style for like a couple of years, to be honest with you guys. Like, a lot of the things that I would buy other than Teddy Fresh were like also pastel colored. I'm trying to get out of it now. I'm also growing out of it. I don't really wear that stuff anymore. But yeah, I was a fan of Teddy Fresh, and I bought it a lot, mainly to support Ethan and Ela. Like, I was fucking sold, guys. This is why this is all shocking to me. This is why me becoming a fallen fan was such a big thing. This is why I'm talking about H3 as much as I am, because I was on such an extreme end of like being a fan and like trying to justify everything that they did, to now having my eyes open to the truth. So let's get back to listening to Ela and Ethan talk about how it's affecting their business, the tariffs.
Did
Is
you
it crazy
see
to
my
put the
message
bean on
about
over the
the
wig?
tariff?
Yeah.
China?
I was gonna say something. You want to say it?
We're just absolutely fucked. Like, it's what people were saying on Friday, they were right. So
Ethan's Basement says, what's up, tuning in from the restaurant? Well, sahtain, Ethan's Basement, bon appetit. Hope you're having something tasty, my friend. We say hello. Someone says, Teddy Fresh socks were like $30. Yeah, that's insane. Ethan's saying. Choki says, you're a good guy, Anthony. Well, thank you, Choki. I don't know what I did to earn that title, but I'll take it. I'm a good guy. Right, Demi?
yeah, babe.
I'm a
sure.
good guy? Thank you.
What were you saying on Friday?
where they were saying it's not 125.
Well, we
So
know it's
it's-
145.
Well, so our team was under the impression it was 125 when we met on Thursday to go over everything. So everything that we went over is inaccurate.
So what are we
And
at?
So now have to reconfigure everything. We're at a really bad
What's
place.
the tariff?
It's 152.5
152.
because it's 125 plus the 20 plus 7.5.
152% tariff. Where before it was how much?
W's in the chat for Ethan's Basement, folks. W's in the chat. Tell him bon appetit. Hopefully he's enjoying his lunch. Take good care of yourself, Ethan's Basement. We love you.
It was between 20 to like 30 something. Yeah.
Dude, this country, there's people in
The
this
problem is
country-
that nobody gave us any time. Like, give people like 6 months. Say this is gonna happen. You may want to start figuring your shit out.
No, it's
There's,
devastating.
There's stuff
So many
already in
small-
boats coming here. There's stuff already made over there, and like we work a year in advance. So we're gonna have to cancel what we can.
I think there's going to be like hundreds of thousands of small businesses that are going to go
Yeah,
bankrupt.
they're gonna go under. Yeah.
Because like, it's one thing to have
I mean,
to.
look, I agree with them. Again, I don't want to agree with Ethan and Ela, but like, you can't just raise tariffs to 152% overnight and then expect thousands of businesses to just like adapt. What are people supposed to change their entire manufacturing like overnight, their whole line of production, the whole logistics? Like, you can't do that. So it is kind of insane that someone has to deal with that like overnight. Like, I get my comics like from the States. Imagine overnight by ordering my comics from the States is going to cost me 20 times as much. You got to give me a couple of months to find an alternative, you know, someone else that I can work with, another country, something. So they're throwing all these businesses under the bus, which is kind of crazy. But it also goes to show, I mean, it's ironic because Ethan and Ela were making fun of Hassan a few weeks ago for producing his clothes in the USA, and they were saying
Yeah,
like
but,
how they don't believe that he makes his clothes in the US, and like how can he sell his shirts for as cheap as he does if they're made in the US? All of his shirts are union made in the US. You guys should have done
They're
the
just
same.
money hungry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Instead of your profit margin being like 70 to 60%, you can have a decent profit margin of 30 to 40, which is the more ethical route. And like, you're supposed to also encourage the people in your country or like whatever nationalist type of production.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to produce things outside.
I mean, if Teddy Fresh were making their clothes in the US, just like Hassan Piker's merch, you guys would not be having any problems right now. You wouldn't have any interruptions in your supply chain. You would be able to keep, you know, because like Ela said, they prepare their stuff a year in advance. So they already have a whole year's worth of a catalog ready to go in China. So they have to change their whole year.
Yeah, but they
They're like-
probably are doing it for so cheap. Like, you have no idea how cheap it is to produce in China. It's still cheaper for you to produce in a whole other country and get it shipped than to actually do it in the US.
Oh yeah, well not now with the tariffs they're fucked. They're trying to cancel stuff. They're gonna have to charge more for whatever they're getting. But like just the fact that they were shitting on Hassan for producing things in the US and now this is happening to them kind of makes it hard for you to feel bad for them. But I do agree that you can't do that to a business overnight. Like, hey, we're changing your whole supply chain. Fucking figure it out. Like, people are gonna lose jobs if Teddy Fresh closes down. How many people do they hire? Like, that's fucked. That's a lot of people that are gonna lose their jobs.
Change where your manufacturing is.
Well, it
It's
takes
another thing to
a
have
really
to do
long
it
time.
overnight.
It's
When you're already
impossible.
committed to having a ton of product in China that you have to now pay
Yeah.
150% tariff on to get.
And it makes no financial sense. People are
Chargeback.
not gonna pay that much. If I had to raise the price to make it financially make sense, people are not gonna pay that much.
It's too much.
It's too much. So
It's called sports.
Just charge that shit back.
Did we pay for it already?
we have stuff that are already paid for, and also it's seasonal. Like, the next collection has swimsuits in it, and that stuff's already on the way. So that stuff we will have to release and raise the prices on. We have no option.
Like, how much do you raise the prices on swimsuits? Like, if the tariffs are 150, how much? If a swimsuit used to cost like $50, how much does it cost with all like that?
Definitely doesn't cost $50. Like, they could
No, no,
just
I'm just throwing an example. Like, if the number is $50, adding a 150% tariff on that, what does that mean? Does it triple in price, quadruple in
Yeah,
price?
triple, I guess. So it would be $200 total.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But nothing costs.
we're actually
Yeah.
we're wondering if we can even run the business.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
Well, straight up.
like I was saying before, apparel was already having a hard time before Trump came into office. So
Yeah.
this is the last thing we needed.
Yeah, the whole- I think
and
it's
that's
a
not just me;
crazy-
it's the industry in general. Everybody in apparel was having a hard time last year.
Okay, so Ela is basically admitting that Teddy Fresh was having sales issues last year
I was
already.
Gonna say, is their business
She's-
doing good outside of the tariffs, like before that?
I mean, at least when Teddy Fresh first launched, it was popping. It was doing well, at the very least within their audience. Everyone in their audience was watching and buying. All of the hardcore fans were buying Teddy Fresh and repping the brand. I don't know how well Teddy Fresh did outside of H3 fans. I know there was some crossover. Like, I've seen some influencers rocking Teddy Fresh from time to time in some like music videos or in some TikToks. Mainly, it was always like the signature hoodie that would make the rounds. Recently, I don't know. I kept buying clothes for like up to 2 years ago. After they turned into like full Zionists, I stopped supporting them. And I guess a lot of other H3 fans stopped supporting them as well. This is probably some of the downturn that Ela is talking about, that they had a dip in sales last year. Now, she's saying all apparel companies had that dip in sales. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but I would not be surprised if, because I've spent literally thousands of dollars on Teddy Fresh. I have stopped supporting Teddy Fresh financially. I've stopped supporting H3 financially. So if I'm just one of thousands of customers who have stopped spending hundreds to thousands of dollars on their clothes, of course it's going to affect their bottom line. Of course it is. So it's just news to me to hear her actually say it, that like, yo, we were already struggling last year, and now with the tariffs, we don't even know if we can keep the business operational. which is crazy. Like to me, Teddy Fresh was like it was such an interesting and fun new addition to the world of fashion. Like it seemed like such a popular brand at the time, and now that it might just go away in like a couple of months is kind of insane.
And was hoping that maybe this year things will turn around, but nobody expected this.
How about that for a
this year.
turnaround?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's utterly insane what's happening.
North Star Radio in the chat. W's to our friend Comrade Casey, folks. W's in the chat for Comrade Casey. He says, R.I.P. Bozo. By the way, Comrade Casey is dropping a very interesting video tomorrow, I believe on the 16th, or actually maybe today. Comrade Casey, please clarify in the chat, where he's going to be like sort of a lawyer for Noah Samson, and he's going to go through the case and give like a theoretical. He's going to make the theoretical case for Noah Samson as to why he is not defaming Ethan Klein. Very excited to watch that, and I'm hoping to actually be able to react to it live. Hopefully I can do that tomorrow or something. Let's continue watching Ethan Klein.
And actually, I was watching a piece.
Did you listen to the Daily today?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, in the next couple of hours, folks, so stay tuned to that. I'll try. I'm going to see if I can do some kind of reaction to that tomorrow, North Star Radio. That'll be fucking dope.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just about a small business owner who was killing it, had this prospering business that she spent like all this time building, and it was finally popping off. And now she's fucked.
She's fucked, and she's afraid she's gonna lose her home because she took, she got all these POs with like Walmart and Target, and those are really big, so you need to commit to like really big quantities, and you kind of need to take a leap of faith. And I think she took a loan that like you put your house against it.
It's a reverse mortgage. It's not a loan.
It's I don't know what the term is, but
A reverse mortgage loan isn't something.
knowing everything she knew leading up to this, it made sense to do it. Nobody knew this would happen overnight. So now she's royally fucked.
I mean, if they're already committed to you legally, it's really
How you pay it back.
Yeah.
It's not doesn't seem that risky.
Yeah, and sometimes as a business owner, you have to take risks.
Yeah.
This isn't my first rodeo.
So there's that happening. So I think we're going to see thousands.
And she was asked, so what about like the actual goal of this? Do you see yourself being able to do this here? And she went over that scenario, and it was literally impossible in so many ways. It was just not even close to anything possible to do it here.
Why?
Well, she went over all the different scenarios. Like for one, you need to find the manufacturing, like the machines. The machines she needs to buy from China. So would she pay 150?
So, bro, that's crazy. Like, what the fuck was Donald Trump thinking? Like, some people can't even like some lady had like a business and like she can't even. She was doing great. Now with the new tariffs, she's fucked overnight. And like they're asking her, like, can't you?
Is she really? Like it depends
But the
what
machine-
the
but-
machine is.
But if it's a specific machine that does like this some specific thing and she can only get it from China, and now it's going to
the
cost.
entire U.S. there isn't that machine.
Accord-
I doubt it.
acco-
Just costs more, and then you have to
according to
price
her-
according to your economic
But that's the thing.
situation, which is what makes more sense.
But the
yani,
U.S. has really like they made themselves so dependent on China. They kind of fucked themselves too. Like they have been more than happy over the past few, I don't know how many years, to just destroy their manufacturing in order to take advantage of cheaper Chinese manufacturing. And now, like they're paying the price because they're noticing they have no infrastructure. Like they have no
Yeah.
infrastructure to do any of this shit. So. They should. I mean, the one good thing about this is that it's going to force them to take more responsibility for their manufacturing, but it's just going to take time. Like if this was a progressive like increase of tariffs, you know what I mean? Like it's going to increase a little bit every month for the next 12 months. Then by the end of like this period, it's going to reach that level, which hopefully by that point you would have all built whatever factories you needed. You would have all built the machines that you needed. You would have all found alternates. The fact that it's all happening overnight. I mean, it's kind of funny that it's affecting Teddy Fresh, but like. Everyone else that's being affected, it's not that funny, I would say. And like, what's Ethan gonna do for money, bro? He's spending all that money on lawsuits. The channel isn't doing as well. Teddy Fresh isn't doing as well. He's buying all these fucking watches. What's happened? How's Ethan and how are Elon and Elam making money, bro?
50% of the machine. Then it takes like 6 to 7 months to set up the molds. You need to find somebody that specializes in that and can set up her facility. Like those people are not even here. There's nobody here that specializes in that stuff. And then like materials you need to bring on its own, and that she needs to pay. Like the materials are not here. Everything, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Especially again when there's no incentive for people to invest.
She went through the cost. It would cost her.
Ghost ATW says, yeah, we outsourced all of our machining operations. A lot of that used to be in Milwaukee and Detroit, but they shipped the jobs away.
Yeah, you see, so they actually took away jobs from Americans.
The Chinese?
Not the Chinese.
Americans,
the
yeah.
Americans trying to be cheaper for
Yeah,
higher
yeah.
profit margins.
Like India is known for like all customer service jobs have been like outsourced to India. Anytime you call a company for like
Yeah, I
customer
know.
question,
Yeah.
customer service, you got someone in India that's picking up the phone because it's much cheaper. Yeah, the U.S. has been outsourcing jobs for years and years and years, and now, I mean, I understand the sentiment of wanting to bring those jobs back, but you got to do it with like a plan. You can't just do it overnight. Like this is just fucking up the economy. This is going to cause hyperinflation because most of the goods that are sold in the States are made in China. So like prices are going to go up on everything, bro.
Yeah, but the market is very diluted with a free market, or maybe it's gonna push some people that are not meant to be business owners out of the market, out of the industry, and no.
But it's also going to push people that are meant to be business owners also out of the industry, which is just not right. Like this isn't the way to
I
do
don't
it.
think you're meant to be a business owner if you're willing to sacrifice like on someone else's like back. Like that makes no sense. I would always rather benefit a Lebanese person, or rather than be like, okay, I can make this for $2 in China and sell it for like $60 here. Whereas, rather than making it in Lebanon for 20 or whatever.
It depends. I mean, there are some items, like if you make an iPhone in the States, I think it would cost like $6,000, or like I forgot what the price was, like $3,000 or $4,000 for like a phone. Which like some things would become prohibitively expensive, where people just wouldn't be able to buy them anymore. Now, do we need to buy a phone every year? Of course not. You need to. Like the logical thing is to buy like one smartphone, keep it for 4 to 5 years. But again, should that cost $4,000 to $5,000? Hey, I'm not the guy to talk about that. But it's just interesting what's happening around the world.
More still, even with the fucked up tariffs.
Yeah.
It would still cost her more to do it here.
Yeah. So you're going to see thousands of small businesses going under. It's going to be catastrophic. And then in China, I was watching a report.
Ice Meow Tequilsa. What are these names? Ice Mouth Tlakisa. Remember, the tariffs are for the already very low prices they pay in China. So a T-shirt they pay $5 to make will now cost $12.50 now. Not that big of a deal. Oh, if that's the only difference in price from $5 to $12.50, then that's okay.
No, it's 150%, but relative to what the piece costs. So here, technically, yeah, if you were to manufacture something in China that costs $5, it would cost you $15 to manufacture it in the US. I know because I have produced t-shirts for my shop, and I know the prices between ordering off of Alibaba or AliExpress. Like a lot of people recommended that I do versus manufacturing in Lebanon, and I actually ended up going with manufacturing in Lebanon just because I could feel the material with my hands, and I could know the people behind it and just support my country further. So yeah, that $10 or $15 difference, whatever it is. I mean, if your piece costs $50 to make, that you're already not selling it for $100. You're definitely selling it for like $300 or $400 already. So you're just gonna have to eat a bigger bite of losing off of your market, your profits.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone's gonna mess with their margins. They're just gonna raise the prices on consumers and try to maintain their margins keep their margins the way they are. That's what happened in Lebanon. Like after the inflation, people, instead of helping people, they just kept.
No, everyone. I know tattoo products, a lot of prices changed. A lot of transparency was forced to happen. Like specifically with like things that were very niche to find, like depending on what the brand was, like needles and ink and stuff like that. Like when I saw the prices after the economic crisis, I'm like, oh wow, they were really benefiting off of our backs before that.
This just fell out of my chair.
What is the bolt?
Not sure if that's a good sign, folks. A nice little fat bolt. Anyways, we got the show must go on, folks. Let's keep going right here.
Of journalists over there covering how and it's affecting China even worse. There's like fucking entire cities of factories just empty. Like the entire industry there is fucking like cratering.
They're gonna crash really.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're panicking.
I mean, it's going to be bad for everybody.
Because everybody is stopping right now what they can, and that's gonna look really bad over there too. Yeah. Oh, and she talked about how like here to do stuff, the minimums. That's what I was talking about too. The minimum order, MOQ is what we call it for short. It's in the thousands or more, 20,000s, and over there they'll take her for like 1,000. So you're able to do business, and like she was able to be a really good business person. But she was like, if I have to do it here, I can't be a good business owner. It's not laid up for me to do business here. It's just nearly impossible.
Everything is extremely expensive in the States, like getting a business license. I mean, you would have to get a business license anyways, even if you're manufacturing in China. But I do imagine like setting everything up, like opening a restaurant in the States costs 50 times more than opening a restaurant in Lebanon. You have to get all these
isn't that relative to how much people make over there, like as in salaries?
It's supposed to be, but inflation has been happening and wages haven't gone up. Minimum wage hasn't gone up in a very long time. So it's supposed to be relative, but it's not. Rent prices keep going up. People's salaries don't go up. Inflation goes up. So Americans, on paper, people think that Americans have a lot of money, but again, most Americans can't afford a $400 emergencies. 50% of Americans have like $1,000 or less in savings. So not really. Everything has not caught up. People's salaries and people's wages have not caught up with the change and increase in the cost of living in the US. Specifically, housing is very expensive. Everything is very expensive. So you would think that's what it's supposed to be, but it's not. People there, a lot of Americans struggle a lot on a daily basis.
Basically.
It's going to harm both countries tremendously. It's going to hurt China even worse.
But it's like we had a good thing going. I don't know why we're doing this.
It seemed like
for both parties. This
Anthony Bensivengo sends $20. Thank you so much for for supporting the channel on such a high level, Anthony. Late thoughts on purity. As a tenant union organizer, I can tell you, to win, you have to work with people you disagree with, but you can never work with someone who disagrees on rights and safety for oppressed people in the union. I agree with you. Again, like I'm willing to put some things aside and to compromise, but there are some values I refuse to compromise on. And genocide and supporting Israel and like when people are like vote for Kamala, it doesn't matter. I'm like, bro, Kamala and Biden are allowing a genocide to happen under their noses. They're doing nothing to stop it. How can I vote for that? How can I overlook that? But they support abortion. Okay, I support abortion, but like they're literally fucking genociding my people. So there are certain things that I refuse to overlook. And you know what I mean? But yeah, NY Anthony says, another great Anthony here. I agree, Anthony.
You say Anthony so many times.
Bensivengo. Anthony. Lars sends $5 and says, Teddy Fresh used to be pretty decent, but the quality of the clothing took a huge dip. It feels cheaply made now, and the designs went off the fucking rails. I agree. The last 2 years of designs have been hideous, and
Designs
I agree.
suck.
And I agree that the quality has been going downhill a little bit. Like when you compare a hoodie that you bought like 4 or 5 years ago to a hoodie that you bought like 2 to 3 years ago, the quality is a little bit different. Now, again, it just depends. I don't want all hoodies to be the same exact material. Some of them are too thick. But for the most part, I would buy only the nicest pieces, like the one that Demi was fixing earlier, the corduroy, like color block thing. I fucking love that thing. I think it's very nice quality, etc. Let's get back to that video.
was working.
Yeah, it seemed like it was working just fine, you know?
And like, if he really cares about long term to invest in America and manufacturing in America, you need to give us like a 5-year plan.
Well, that's
like, okay, we're going to give you in 1 year, tariff is going to go up to this. And then you get incentives for doing something here and this and that. There needs to be like a plan over like 5 years at least or something.
I think traditionally,
just doing it overnight, there's no plan. There's nothing. There's no...
I agree with Ela. I mean, you know, we don't agree with Ela Klein very much here. The Raider of Ramallah, folks. The Ramallah Raider. In the flesh.
5 years? That's intense.
But yeah, it should be scattered. You can't just do it. Hey, tomorrow, guys, your whole lives are changing.
All he's doing is just like throwing all the small and medium business owners to the trash. Like,
but I personally think it's going to be too catastrophic for China and America that I think before very long, within a month.
By the way, guys, I forgot to point this out last time. Notice the sniffing. Ethan is sniffing a lot less. And I contend that when Ethan is talking about Hassan, he's talking about the whole Palestine-Israel thing, he's extra stressed and he's like sniffing non-stop and coughing. Listen to him now. Pay attention to the sniffing. Notice how much less sniffing there is when he's talking about something a little bit more chill.
That they'll come to some kind of
and then with the iPhones, so he gave them like an exemption, and then I heard now he's taking away the exemption. I don't know what's happening.
What a psycho, bro.
I don't know what's happening. Because it's illegal. It's probably illegal to give them an exemption. Like, what about everybody else? You can't just... Because you met with Apple CEO, you give them an exemption?
I thought he was the whole industry of like cell phones.
I don't know too much about it because I'm...
See that? He's less jittery, less sniffing. And everyone says that like he snorts stuff. So I'm not sure. Like I know people are kidding him most of the time, but like... Look at the lack of sniffing. And people in the chat are saying, yeah, it's a huge tell. And like they're agreeing with me. He's way chiller when he's not talking about that. You've noticed the sniffing too, haven't you? Or no?
I just noticed that his tics get worse when he's talking about something that he's uncomfortable with, or that's something that he's not, like he's making a very big claim about someone or he's attacking someone, not necessarily like when he's comfortable or not. Yani just like when he's talking about weird stuff.
Something stressful, yeah.
Like, he starts doing the whole thing.
Yeah, with his he's a bit more active. Like he can't really control his hands and stuff. But like I feel like with the sniffing for some reason.
No, I think it's all related. It's all a nervous tick.
It is.
Yani the sniffing starts because he's like looking at the camera. He's doing it. So I don't think it has anything to do with coke. Like I don't think.
Oh yeah, I think people are kidding when they're saying he's snorting cocaine or like Adderall.
Into apparel, but
pretty sure he can do anything. with the tariffs?
He can because he doesn't care about anything. But there are, I'm sure, legalities and illegalities that he just doesn't care about.
I think they'll come to the table. I think within a month there'll be some kind of deal. But if I'm wrong, then everybody's fucked.
Not a single sniff.
Yeah.
And Teddy Fresh probably. I mean, it's not even a matter of like if you can.
That is pretty crazy. Let me just check, see if the chat is agreeing with us. Lars sends another $5. He says, I love how they believe China is genociding Uyghur Muslims and harvesting their organs, but doesn't mind cheap labor from them at all. Well, I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny if Teddy Fresh starts making all their clothes in Israel? Why don't you start producing the clothes in Israel? It'll be closer to us. We could order it directly. I'm kidding. We wouldn't even be allowed to ship anything from Israel into Lebanon. But like, Ela, support. Don't you want to support Israelis? Open up a Teddy Fresh factory in Israel. You know, have the IDF soldiers make the clothing in their spare time. That would be a business that I'm sure you guys would be happy to support, wouldn't it?
It's
You cannot operate in like.
You can't.
Dreadful Utopia has corrected me. It says it's pronounced Uyghur. I'm sorry, I called them Uyghurs, like Jank Uyghur folks, Uyghurs.
You can't operate without knowing anything. That's like the opposite of business. Like the inability to predict next week. You can't operate a business like that.
There it is. Well, Donald Trump did the art of the deal. So if anyone knows how businesses are run,
Yeah.
it's him.
He wrote the art of the deal. He did.
By the way, some of the coping.
Someone is saying his tics have nothing to do with drug usage. Let me just take a second to find that tweet, that video where they're talking about Hassan making his clothes in the States and like asking how he's making money, etc. Just because they should learn a thing or two about how Hassan makes his clothes. I mean, this isn't like a spoiler or anything, but like, I've talked about potentially maybe one day. I mean, I've talked about doing merch, you know what I mean? And like, if we were ever to do merch on the channel, you bet your asses this stuff would be made here in Lebanon. I'm not going to send you guys merch made from anywhere else. It's to, you know, to encourage Lebanese production, also to give us a kind of a competitive advantage, to stand out in the market. Everything's made in China. Everything's made in like Taiwan. Wouldn't it be nice to have something made locally for a change?
I think people care where something is made.
Sometimes they do.
No, I think like I have a lot of people in the fashion industry. I think they care
Lauren Lacey, that's so nice of you.
about
Appreciate that so much.
how it's made and what it's made from, like what's on it, what's the material. But I don't see anyone that's like, oh yeah, my product's superior because it's made in XYZ. Like I don't.
Well, I mean, in the high fashion world, they always think that like if it's made in Italy, like Hermes, like there's this. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Like there's all these videos going viral on TikTok right now of Chinese
That's
manufacturers,
like designer brands.
Even look, as a Lebanese person, I get an extra kick if I know that something is made in Lebanon. For example, I can't explain it. It's just like knowing that my money is going to support local people, to pay local salaries. To me, it makes a small difference. But usually I don't really care. You know, when I'm buying clothes, I don't really look where it's made. Kind of like Demi mentioned, it's more important to see, like, is it cotton? Is it this? Is it that? That's what really matters. The quality rather than where it was made. So here's Ethan. Now, this is like sped up like 2x, so I'm sorry. It's going to sound very fast. They're talking about Hassan's brand and how his stuff is made in the USA.
Lauren Lacey, that's so nice of you. Appreciate that so much. 50 gift.
So yeah, before the 125, it was between 25 to 40%, and it kind of ranges depending on the product or on the content of the product. But now it's up to 125.
It's kind of insane. Like I don't know how.
It's just insane. It makes our whole business like non-functional.
Yeah.
So we are trying to figure out what we're gonna do, and then there was this whole thing of like, is it gonna last? So like nobody knows how to plan.
Yeah.
You can't change your whole business, and then in a week it's gonna change back.
Yeah.
But
Pretty incredible.
majority of where we do our
So
products
I don't-
are everywhere else. And,
Oh no, sorry. That's not the clip actually. So I thought that was a clip.
That's them talking about the tariffs.
It's them talking about the tariffs again. There was like a couple of weeks ago, they just went on this whole thing making fun of Hassan and like they're making fun of his clothes, the designs of the clothes, and then specifically like how does he even make money? And then they started doubting the fact that it's actually made in the U.S. So like for the prices that he charges, it's hard to believe that he actually makes the stuff here. No way. They started saying that he makes it in China or something.
People have different market.
Yeah, Hassan doesn't care as much
Profit
about making money.
margins,
Yeah,
yeah.
his profit margins are lower. He
And
just wants to sell the products.
Some people do, like some business models do count on volume more than, what's the other one?
Volume or
more
like
than-
price.
Like price, yeah, like more than like a total
Premium.
general price. Like if you sell 1,000 pieces a day, it doesn't matter if it's like you want $10 on them. That's like just the same as.
How's the sweater looking, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's done.
Show us.
So this is the removed.
Whoa.
Should we burn this, guys?
Dub-
Should we burn this?
W's in the chat for Demi, folks. W's in the chat. She's been working on this for like fucking an hour and a half.
It's been an hour, I guess.
No name sends $5 and says, Anthony, a lot of controversial shit happening in Lebanon. Can you talk about them? No name. I don't know what you're talking about, my man. Clarify, please. Wow, look at that. That is so that I mean, this is too much flowers now. Like, I think what was nice about the logo is that like it kind of broke the monotony of the pattern. No,
I think you should sell this.
I think I should sell this, right? And we need to fix it though. We need to sew it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna sew it right now.
I think this one has a small Teddy Fresh patch at the
I
bottom.
did notice.
Yeah, it has
As I
an-
was working on it, I was like, I thought I saw a
It
bear
has an extra little
somewhere.
bear, yeah. Bottom right or bottom left, or on the sleeves.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's
Hello,
got a little
remove
teddy.
it.
But I mean, it's kind of camouflaged. But like, thank you so much.
I can remove it.
You've saved. This is a big piece. This was like over 130 or
Oh my
$140,
God,
bro.
Sell that.
Something insane. Can I sell it now that I've removed it?
You're
like-
just selling it as like a regular piece. You don't have to market it as an old Teddy Fresh piece. Some people care about stuff just because of what it looks like, not because of the branding.
I know, but like,
Some benefit
I
from
could have
that.
sold it for. If I'm gonna sell it, I could have sold it for more money. Like, I took it off so I can keep it. Like,
Okay,
kind of
are you
like-
gonna become a money-hungry mongrel like they are, or you just want to get rid of the piece?
No, I wanted to. No, if I'm taking off the logo, it's because I'm keeping the clothes. I want to be able to wear them guilt-free. So removing it to sell it makes no sense. I would have just sold it as I could probably would have made more money selling it as is. You know.
Of conservatives who are still supporting him are unreal. There's this one investment banker. What's his name? He's famous for like shorting. Anyway, he's like a mega billionaire investor. And when Trump lifted all the tariffs except for China, he goes,
Crazy
"Really?
Rosa says W Demi, the resistor to the raider of Ramallah.
Thank
Hell
you.
yeah. Demi versus Ela.
Love
Demi
you
versus Ela.
guys. Love
Demi
you
versus
guys.
Ela. Who wins, folks, in a fight? Again, I ask you guys again. Demi versus Ela in a fist fight, 3 rounds. Who comes out on top? Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah, Demi comes out on
We
top.
ain't working out for nothing.
Ela ain't standing no fucking shot against my girl. Hey, Ethan, don't you even think about it, boy.
Brilliantly played, sir. Exactly art of the deal. Excellently played, sir." And I was like,
Magnificent.
"The fuck?"
Even Kevin O'Leary was praising it on
I mean,
CNN.
even Kevin O'Leary's a moron.
Well,
He's still wonderful.
But the guy does business.
Mean guitar player though.
Yeah, he does business, right?
yeah, no, he does, but he was saying that
Ice Mouth Tilkisa says it's not a business for Hassan. He doesn't make any money from it. He just does it because the fans want merch. So yeah, there you go.
Aw.
He doesn't care about making a lot of profit. So God bless Hassan.
it needs to be even more. with
Even
China.
more?
Yeah.
True.
At this point, it doesn't matter. They could just make it $1 trillion.
$1 trillion
It's
percent.
basically
It's high enough
become-
that it's untenable to do business there.
150% tariff.
Yeah, 152.5.
Chat is saying Shoki says Demi is righteous. Dizzle asks, does Demi get to use the tattoo gun? Well, of course she does. She's a tattoo artist.
What do you mean? Do I get to use a tattoo gun
I guess when you tattoo
every single day?
every day. Rami says Demi one hit a quitter. Demi, but Eli is also a trained soldier. Someone says you would even beat Ethan Klein.
I love that. I love that. Is she a trained soldier? I keep getting confused. I thought she was just a secretary.
She was a knight, but I guess she got basic training, like all of them or something.
So that's the thing.
Sorry.
It's like if it
That's
continues like
awesome.
that, then it'd probably be like this business is not worth running.
What's
right?
up? You got it off?
Second one's off.
Second one's off, folks. We got the second. Sorry, let me switch. Second little Teddy Fresh. We have 2 of them. Can you show both of them to the camera now? We got 2 little patches off, folks. Look at that. 2 pieces of clothing have been rescued. Bye bye, little patches. Bye bye, little patches. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Nah, we ain't doing that.
But if they get rid of it in a month, which is totally possible too, then it would work. So
Tone
again, it's
415
like, what-
says Ela is getting completely sweeped. I agree, Tone. Demi will break her legs. We're kidding, Ela. We don't want any harm towards you. We're just kidding. Okay. Safety and love to the family.
the fuck
A
you want
month?
people to do?
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Really? A month?
It's just total silliness.
It's called sports.
China's such dickheads too. Look, I know Trump's a dickhead, but China's got to be like, no, we're a bigger dickhead. We put 10 billion tariff on you then.
Kissing my ass.
2 dickheads, bro.
That's why I'm not feeling hopeful about this at all, like going away, because they're too.
Yeah, they're both pretty.
They're gonna butt
unshakable.
heads.
Well,
if
listen,
they-
from their perspective, it's like they're just basically calling the bluff.
Right.
And they're right to do that. Like, just from a rational standpoint, it's like
No, but-
they
Well,
hold the
need
cards
it-
here.
But they need this business too.
It's hurting them way.
Yeah,
more
hurting
for
than I
sure.
think.
But like,
They make product for America. They could not sell the product there.
what,
You
which
gotta-
which society, the United States or China, is more resilient to enduring the shock, you think, though?
America, no question about it.
Really?
That's fucking crazy to me. America is more resilient to resisting the shock, bro. China has been around for thousands of fucking years. The United States went fucking crazy with COVID, bro. People were killing each other over fucking toilet paper in supermarkets during COVID. You think the Chinese are like that fucking crazy? Like, look, the States is a powerful country, one of the top countries in the world, bro. They would crumble, bro. They would crumble. If you raise the prices on their Starbucks coffee, they're going to fucking protest. Are you telling me they're going to be okay with like inflation and 152% tariffs on China, and the Chinese are going to suffer more, bro? The Chinese are fucking...
They don't need you.
Do the Chinese believe in like collectivism and working together as a society for the betterment of the society? Americans are all about individualism. So it's all about what I can get, what I can do to help myself. No one cares about their neighbor in the US. The Chinese, whether you love it or hate it, whether you love China or hate it, they all work together as a fucking society, and they move forward as a society or they go backwards as a society, but at least they're doing it together. And I think Dan is fucking shocked here. He's like, what? You think like the US is fucking better than China? Like, what the fuck? By the way, the hair looks good on Dan. I'm going to say it. Dan, I know we've had our differences, my man, but hair looks good on you. He's bald. He has to wear a wig for a week as like a challenge. So suits him, doesn't it?
Looks like a woman.
I mean, a woman with a beard.
Woman.
No question. America, in every way.
People are gonna freak out when the prices all like
No,
spike.
China, dude, China is like fucking, their whole industry is fucked. Like manufacturing is what China does.
Right, no, I get
And like
that.
pretty much every manufacturer there serves at...
I don't disagree that China is also going to be affected because, yes, China's main export is exports, manufacturing. They just build everything. And the biggest consumer of Chinese goods, the biggest consumer of goods in general, are the United States. Europeans don't buy nearly as much Chinese shit as the Americans. They don't buy nearly as much shit as Americans. No one consumes like Americans do. So this will definitely have an impact on China, on Chinese manufacturing. But let's just wait and see how long this lasts. But again, the Chinese will bounce back, folks. They've done it before. They've been around for thousands of years. They are the #1 global superpower in the world right now, bro. Don't believe what Americans tell you. It's China. China.
Large portion Americans. And they cannot survive. Like the entire fucking industry is just cratered there.
Jordan M sends a $10 super chat and says, the West largely supports capitalism, so I have zero sympathy for businesses who are losing business based on a supply chain that largely relies on exploiting the rest of the world. So Jordan agrees with you. Well, absolutely. I mean, definitely. They are. I just think they should have had more time to change, even if you disagree with it.
Definitely, I agree with that. But show 5-year plan. Like no government
Not
is going to offer that.
A year.
Like,
But like,
crazy.
I agree. You should encourage local production. That's always the case. Like again, if I were to make merch, I would want to make it here in Lebanon. If I were in the States and I were trying to make some merch, I would ideally like to work with a union, a firm, a company, a factory that makes T-shirts. But if I had chosen to start my business and get my merchandise from abroad, I would like a little bit of a heads up. Be like, hey, we're going to be changing some policies. We're going to be changing some rules. If you want your business to remain alive and stay active, you want to keep your people employed, you need to do 1, 2, and 3. You have X, Y months to do so. Transition. Here's a transition period. Here's some incentives. Here's some tax credits. Here's whatever. The government should make it attractive for you to do it. Not like, hey, you're on your own, everything's more expensive, you're fucked, and if you can't adapt within a couple of months...
Honestly, why should a government offer you incentives? That doesn't make sense.
Incentives to bring manufacturing back
Yeah, I get.
in the country, and then to lead to create more jobs, more taxes for the government.
The government shouldn't. You should, as a like civic duty, that should be something that you want to do. That's not something that a government should bribe you to do to
Not
give
bribe
you
you,
an incentive.
but is the-
that's what an incentive is at
Sure,
that point.
but if the government is sort of tearing the carpet underneath you and changing
I don't believe,
and changing your business and making your business model unsustainable overnight, they should offer you some kind of incentive or some kind of a transition, something to make the transition smoother. If the
transition,
incentive,
okay, but I don't agree with
the incentive could be like for example, a 10% tax credit. If you bring your manufacturing to the States for the first year, we'll give you a 10% rebate on whatever you spend on manufacturing, just as a little extra boost to make the transition a little bit less painful, to encourage you. I think incentives. I think
those people that have been producing outside have like made a lot more money than people that have been producing in more ethical places.
I know,
So I don't think that they need incentives.
But I know I would try to help at first, because you don't want people to lose jobs. You don't want people to. I would rather the business struggle a little bit, but be able to stay open and still be able to keep people hired, rather than no incentives, no transition periods, nothing. They close down, people lose their jobs. Then I think you're in bigger trouble than you were before. I just think it should be a little bit more of a slow rollout, not like an overnight thing. Lars sends $5 and said they're stupid. China doesn't need us. It's the world's manufacturer. U.S. makes nothing. China can lose 15% of their export market. They don't care. I think China will be fine. I agree. But I do think that the biggest consumer of Chinese goods is the United States. This is where China is going to suffer a little bit. But, I mean, they still got Europe to sell to. They got the rest of the world to sell to. They will be okay. They've been okay for thousands of years. They will continue to be okay.
Some things are cheap also. Don't forget, like, some things are, like, if the cost is $1, 150% of $1, it's just going to be $3.
Yeah, no,
$4.
that's still cheap.
Not every, like, clothing maybe and, like, more higher
course,
end luxury stuff are going to suffer. But
I'm looking at things that I'm buying for, like, right now. Like, I bought an extra little battery to charge my camera while it's plugged into the wall. I'm paying $20 for that now. If I'm going to have to pay $60 for that, or 40 or 50, like, that's just where shit changes. Like, I've been able to buy spares of those because they're just $20 a pop.
Buy it from AliExpress
You know what I mean?
directly. Like, no, then don't get it from Amazon.
Yeah, I would have to buy it
completely different.
directly from China. And this is what the Chinese are doing now. They're putting out all these TikToks, all this social media, like, hey, buy from us directly. Instead of paying this
That's
much,
so
you
fucking
can pay that
smart.
much. But for people who are living in the States and stuff, it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. Again, this affects Americans. This doesn't affect me living in Lebanon. This just affects people living in the States.
I wish that we could watch what I was watching. It was a Chinese piece that was translated, and it looked catastrophic to me. A lot of the other countries though were like, okay, bro, sure, whatever, dude. And then like, he just dropped it. He's like, 10%, just drop it, because Trump's a fucking idiot. He's like all hot air. I don't blame them for doing it, but it just seems like.
I just think Trump's going to blink first, is my suspicion.
It's called baseball in particular.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. He took off the tariffs on everyone else. He got that bump in the stock market, so everyone's feeling a little better. I don't think he's.
I feel like the only people that can pressure him is
his billionaire
high-profile
buddies.
CEOs like Tim Apple.
Yeah,
but
Tim Apple is not.
You need Tim Cook, be like, hey, I don't want to sell my iPhones for $5,000 a pop. What can we do about these tariffs? I think it's eventually going to get solved, but it is this kind of macho, big dick swinging competition right now. Like, Trump isn't going to back down. The Chinese don't want to back down. It's the two world superpowers kind of putting their dicks on the table and seeing who's got the bigger wee-wee. Sorry for the nasty terms, folks.
Happy. All those, by the way, all the tech bros that were at his inauguration, like, that's right, we're MAGA all the way. Those guys are all getting fucked. Big time
I don't
fucked.
know.
So, interesting times.
So basically, 150% tariff, prices are going to 2.5x. Like, so 150%, me out says 150% on $1 makes it 2.5.
2.5, yeah.
So if a $5 product is going to become 2.5 times 1.5 then, right?
So any number times 2.5.
Is that what you're doing? I think so.
So $5 would be 15. I don't have no idea.
I don't know.
Oh, guess who has huge manufacturing facilities in China?
Travis Yates has just become a member. Thank you, Travis Yates. Welcome to the Do Not Warriors.
Yeah, a $5 product would become 12.5.
W's in the chat for Travis Yates. We're almost done with this, and we're almost done with the live stream, folks.
China, Elon Musk, doesn't he? They make a ton
I think
of.
there is a Tesla plant in China. I think so, yeah. I hear that Tesla's doing terribly over there, though. Those Chinese electric car
Can't beat
makers are
that.
like blowing them out of the water now.
Yeah, you can't beat them.
Yeah.
Tesla.
I thought they were making it for other markets, not for China. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think Trump understands, and I believe he's correct in this, that it's going to hurt China worse. So I think he's banking on the fact that they'll come to the table. But even if they come to the table, it's like, what do we hope
It's not going to hurt China worse. Are you fucking crazy?
to get here, where everyone just drops
Look
their...
at your wife's business. She's already asking if her business is going to stay alive a month from now, and you're like, China's going to hurt more. You're already questioning whether or not a business you started in 2017, an 8-year-old business, can survive one more month without China, and you're telling me China can't survive?
Like, your business is not.
Literally, Teddy Fresh is going to crumble in a month because of tariffs. So chill out, Ethan. China's going to be fine. You're fine. My mic is back. Yeah, the mics are back. My camera might be back. Your camera might not be back.
All right, I just can't let go of the.
Don't be. It should come soon. We's almost done, baby. Folks, so I can't see you. I'm gonna keep playing this. Actually, you guys can probably still hear, right?
And both sides will
Like, it's
hurt
not that
a lot.
different
I
from
don't
where we
know.
started. It's like not that different.
just cause a lot of headaches and
Just-
companies to go
yeah.
out of business in the meantime,
Yeah.
and then just wind up back at square one.
What's happening, babe? Can I have your flashlight?
Yeah.
Oh, no need.
I was just about to close it.
Just a gentle reminder to you folks that we are streaming from a Middle Eastern country. We're in Lebanon. We get power outages on a regular basis.
No, it's not a power outage.
It's switching. It doesn't matter, babe. It's a power outage.
No, power outage means we're spending hours without power, which is what we did go through 2 years ago. Now it's just generators changing. Like, explain.
It's a momentary
Don't
power
make
outage.
it seem like we're
Babe, they watch
behemoths
us
that
live. They
want-
know that it's a 2-second power outage. So basically, it switches from like government electricity to personal generators. That's what happens. But here, it cuts a little bit more so. But yeah, like power outages, just for the sake of brevity, babe.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
China does have a lot of terrible business practices, like how they steal IP from American companies to do business there. And
Oh, stealing IP. Stealing IP. What do you mean stealing IP, bro? What the fuck? Again, IP should not fucking exist the way it does. Like, stop fucking gatekeeping technology. And I mean, you think Apple doesn't know when they're making their phones in China? You think they don't know that the Chinese are learning exactly how to make their phones? It's their choice. It's a cause. They're willing to do it there. You know what I mean? They've been building their phones in China for years. Chinese people have been ripping off their IP for years. Apple has never stopped producing their phones in China. They don't give a fuck about their IP, bro. Okay.
but like obviously there's different ways to approach that that doesn't include
Yeah, I think
whatever
you know,
this is.
I feel like there are rational people out there that make the argument that like we've become way too reliant on Chinese manufacturing. We
Sure.
should decouple ourselves from that.
I feel
But
like-
like you said, Hila, it's like this is a fucking insane way to do it.
This is not the way to do it.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
nobody is going to argue that point,
Yeah.
by the way. Like, everybody can agree that, yeah, this dependability is problematic in the long run, probably.
It's like it's like if you get a cut.
But
It's like you get a cut on your arm and it gets infected, and you're like, we have two options. We can take antibiotics, or we can just cut the arm off.
yeah.
Right.
And Trump said, well, we could
Take that sucker off.
Let's just cut it off, you know?
Yeah, so Meout says that a $100 item will now become $250. So, I mean, that is a pretty big price increase for more expensive items. For cheaper items, if it's a $1 item, sure, you're not going to feel like anything sub $10 is still going to be relatively affordable, relatively cheap. It's when you get into those bigger purchases that you're going to be dropping the big bucks. Haley D, she says, Demi, please start a cult. She's asking for you to start a cult. Let me cut to
Haley,
you.
I see your likes on Instagram stories. You my girl.
Well, there you go. Haley's W's in the chat for Haley D, folks. Haley is the greatest. She's the reason most of your members here. So
True, honestly.
don't you forget your mama. Don't you forget your membership, mama. We got Haley. We got Dizzle McFizzle. We got members go up, who apparently was a donor for the H3 show. He reached out to us on Discord. Thank you,
Oh,
members go up.
yeah.
He sent us like 100. He gifted 100 memberships.
cool.
What a legend! And again, the fact that Ethan's basement members go up, Comrade Casey, all of these VIPs are watching these lives, folks. How fucking lucky are we? How fucking lucky am I to have found such a beautiful audience? And by the way, thank you guys so much for donating to Harley's. I didn't want to keep talking about it because I feel like I don't want to steal any attention away from Harley's hard work, but like Harley's fundraiser is at like over 3,000 pounds. Thanks to you, motherfuckers. Thanks to you, generous bastards out there donating money left and right to that fundraiser. The link is still in the description of this video. It's right under the Patreon link. If you guys want to go in, donate a little bit of extra money to support Mohsen and his family. Harley, our lovely viewer, she really has made all of this possible, and you guys have been amazingly generous. Seriously, amazingly generous. Thank you so much for everything that you guys have done for Mohsen and his family. Almost done with this video. We'll call it a night. And then tomorrow we will have the final live stream of the week before I travel. And then I'm going to be announcing a lot of fun stuff tomorrow. And then I'm going to be announcing some of my plans for the States, what I hope to do, etc. Let's go ahead and finish this video real quick.
I like to be direct.
So that's it. I don't know what's going to happen with Teddy Fresh.
Healthy, they had great arms.
And I'll tell you, I don't know what's going to happen with like a ton of other companies too. Sorry, one sec.
So Teddy Fresh might be closing down. So if Teddy Fresh closes down, folks, I think I'm going to keep... I was thinking, like, should I sell this? I think I should keep this forever. Like, this is the signature Teddy Fresh hoodie. when all is said and done, I think this would be a nice souvenir to have, especially if Teddy Fresh does go out of business. Having some of these OG pieces, man, I could fucking resell this to like some crazy Fupa Troopa.
It's so fucking ugly, honestly.
I can't wear this anymore. Like I used to wear this like
so like
6 years ago or something.
No way, it's so ugly.
Yeah, I couldn't wear this anymore.
Like,
I used to
let's
like this.
say it was a good piece, they just ruined it with that red embroidery. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, the red maybe. Like I used to really like this, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't like
I'm
this.
glad I hadn't met you at that phase.
I think this
of
was a
life.
dope piece. Well, this one I like this one. Like, it's got
Yeah,
nice comic panels. It's pretty cool. And the corduroy one is really nice. Plus, there's this one. I'll always defend this piece as well. I think this is a very nice piece. Very simple. I think this is a pretty dope piece. Again, like my style has gotten more classic over the last couple of years, so I stopped buying a lot of the pastel color Teddy Fresh stuff and more of the like the corduroy, this sort of this color. Oops.
You got it.
And then I stopped. Well, folks, this has been a lovely, chill stream. We talked about David Pakman. We talked about Bill Maher. We talked about Teddy Fresh going out of business because of Chinese tariffs. Demi graciously sat here with us and removed Teddy Fresh branding off of 2 of my favorite Teddy Fresh items. Thank you so much, Demi. You have rescued about $300 worth of clothing. Folks, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow with another live. Hopefully, we'll have the crew here. Nour and Karine will try to be here tomorrow. Everyone who donated, everyone who sent in a super chat, thank you so much. All of our members, all of our patrons, thank you infinitely. We love you so much. This was just a casual, regular, chill stream. We'll be back with a little bit more of an official episode tomorrow. Let me just take a second to thank some of our lovely patrons who have supported us and continue to support us. Patrons, God-tier patrons like Rifat Fakih, Hedian Mujabir, Jack Sleeman, Dominic Selger, Daniel Nechle, Emma Watson. Superhero patrons like Muhammad Mroueh, A Rose for You, Claudia, Khawla, and Ahmad. Blonde patrons like Que Dieu bénisse tout le monde, Ahmad M, Falafel Brain, Always Worried, It's Dylan, David Ayala, and Black Magic Magician. And some of our members, Adam, Nami the Fifth, Jordan M, Dreadful Utopia, Daniel Van Winden, and Suhail Mournier. Demi, anything you want to tell the audience before letting... Sorry, let me get rid of this. Before letting them go?
No, take care, you guys. Love you.
Quick reminder, if you guys want to follow Demi, you can find her on Instagram at Days of Demi and at Cosmic Studios. Here are the Instagram accounts, tattoos, piercings, fine arts.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be making more art-related content. I'm going to try to go... I went live once on my channel tattooing myself, so maybe I'll do something similar. Yeah, just as much art as I can.
Cosmic, Days of Demi. Don't you forget it, folks. And with all that said, folks, thank you so much for joining us. It's been super fun chilling with you guys in the chat. I think we had almost like 600 viewers watching simultaneously. Thank you so much. Let me just take a quick final look at the chat over here. 559 of you still watching. We hope you enjoyed the stream. See you all tomorrow. And as always, folks, we love you very much. And
Did it